This is Ben Dixler and Alex Jessup coming at you with 5 factors of political polarization and 5 solutions.
Polarization happens when a problem gets summarized into two opposing solutions. Think of it as two positively charged magnets propelling each other. In a political sense, this translates to the two major political parties, Republicans and Democrats. There's always been polarization between the two parties as they have different beliefs, but the decline of moderate voters who don't adamantly support either side marks a separation that extends deeper than just political disagreements.
Media is a big portion of political polarization, and a lot of news sites have to sell ads in order to get their money, so that means that they have to sell headlines, and that means that a lot of misleading headlines are posted. Social media is also dangerous because anybody can post anything, and even people who disprove things are never as popular as those who spread the information themselves. Our solution would be to introduce an independent group that would evaluate news sources and make sure that they're staying honest. In terms of social media, the same or a different independent group could evaluate the amount of misinformation on a given social media site and analyze whether the site is doing enough to filter their content so that people aren't seeing misleading information everywhere they go.
Political affiliation comes from people affiliating with a party and sticking with them through every issue or vote. This is a problem because it means that people are no longer researching issues or looking at both sides of an issue, instead opting to vote as Republican or Democrat. The amount of Americans today who express strong affiliations with either political party has doubled over the last 2 decades, meaning that more than ever, people are opposed to even hearing from the other side. Furthermore, an increasing number of people believe that the other party is harmful to the country, which is not productive to a healthy political debate. Changing someone's mindset about politics is not an easy task. It is even more challenging to do so for an entire country. Because of this, our solution is simply an attempt to get the ball rolling. The main reason that people assume that they have an idea of what the other party looks and acts like is because they rarely talk to them. We propose an app that pairs individuals or groups of people with members of the opposite political affiliation and has them talk to each other through video chat or in person. It is important to see the face of the other person because it is much easier for people to insult or dismiss a person if they are not right there. The app would lead 30-minute conversations. The first 5 minutes would be introductions and learning things about each other that do not involve politics. The next 20 minutes would be spent in the debate. The last 5 minutes would also not include political talk. The 10 minutes of small talk would seek to show both parties that their enemy is still a person with their own lives and reasons for thinking all the way they do.
Another aspect of polarization is our election system, and a big part of that is the Electoral College. The Electoral College is a system that gives the voting power to a group of people representing the people rather than the actual population. It started as a way for people to pick someone they trusted to vote when they didn't know the candidates very well, but now anyone can find out the candidates for themselves, so it's kind of pointless. Another aspect of this that increases polarization is the winner-take-all system, which means that all the votes in the Electoral College go to the winning candidate rather than it being distributed evenly. Our solution to this problem is to abolish the Electoral College. As previously stated, the Electoral College no longer serves its original purpose and only allows for middlemen to get in the way of the popular vote. Also, getting rid of the Electoral College would encourage more people to vote regardless of what state they are in.
There are many factors outside the actual election system that still influence the results and, by extension, polarization. 2 of the biggest influencers are gerrymandering and political action committees. Gerrymandering is how counties are drawn, which is important because like-minded people could be grouped together or not depending on who is drawing the lines. Because of this, elections are influenced by who draws the lines. For example, a liberal person would draw a lot of counties in blue areas and less bigger counties in red areas in order to make more counties vote blue. Political action committees, PACs, and super PACs are organizations that raise money for a certain candidate or cause. The two differ because super PACs do not have a limit on how much money they can raise. The committees cannot directly support or be in contact with a candidate, but they are able to advertise and tour in order to sway public opinion. A solution for gerrymandering, albeit an extreme one, would be to get rid of congressional districts entirely. Their purpose is to decide how many representatives a state gets. However, this can be solved by using a population-based formula that still functions the same way as the system now, but without the convoluted district system. We could even keep the number of representatives the same as it is now and ditch the district system. This would make it so that district lines cannot influence anything and thus cannot increase polarization. In terms of PACs, our solution is to have each party that gets a certain amount of support be given a campaign budget by the government. Every political ad or anything affiliated with that candidate's political campaign has to come out of that budget.
Extreme people and views are another aspect of political polarization, and it goes hand in hand with social media because these people now have a platform to influence people who would usually be more moderate. Extremists can normalize their views by posting it on social media over and over again, and eventually people will be desensitized to a view that originally was appalling to them. The previous solutions we stated, such as the social media oversight and the communication app, would help with this problem, but an extra solution would be to have an algorithm that detects people who lean heavily into one party and occasionally show them posts from the other party. This prevents people from getting into an echo chamber and can stop extremists from being created in the first place.
The increase in political polarization has massive impacts on America, both at the governmental and civilian level. Conversations across party lines is becoming less common and more hostile by the day. Have you noticed that people check out of political conversations when they realize that you have a different opinion? Polarization is taking away people's ability to debate at all by making people think that there's no point to arguing. Politicians are voting to screw up the other party rather than to serve America. Media is becoming less genuine in order to earn revenue. The reason this is important now, more than ever, is because we are still at the point where we can do something about it. But this may not last long. We have to open up the conversation before it closes again forever.
A lot of the solutions that we propose seem to be out of our hands, as they are still up to the decisions of our lawmakers. However, the best thing you can do as a US citizen is to talk to people, as many people as you can, hopefully from people who believe different things than you. Try to humanize them and learn something about them that doesn't have to do with politics. Remember that everyone is still an American and still a person.
Political polarization is an issue that will never go away completely. It is an issue that finds its place in the very structure of our government. However, there are ways such as these in which we might be able to make our system healthier. The system is currently very flawed, and while it will not be fixed quickly, if we truly want a more fair and less polarized country, we need to start somewhere. Our solutions to these issues are simply the beginning. However, with enough perseverance, we may be able to finally make a difference.